Well, hello, avid readers of Christian fiction. I am here with amazing Susan May Warren, and we are talking about her new Christmas release, Have Yourself a Christensen Christmas. She has a copy there too. We're so happy about it. Yeah, hold it up, matching book.
Mhm.
All right, she has a hardback. I have
I,
to,
yeah,
I
I have
have
the, I have
to,
the hardback. Yeah,
but
really
it's
fun. Get the
yeah.
paperback. Cool.
But I love it. Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
Susie, just tell us a little bit about yourself and then why you want to write this book, which, of course, we just have to get back involved with this family. But
Right, right.
tell us a little
Well,
bit about
yeah.
you
Thanks
and the
for
book.
having me on again. It's
Yeah.
so great to see you, and I always love catching up with you guys and your amazing tribe there, the avid readers. And so hi to everybody. So if you've not met me before, my name is Susan May Warren. I've written about I think I'm around close to 100 novels now.
It's so
Uh,
funny. Like,
yeah,
how many? I don't know.
I
I'm
don't know.
writing too fast to stop and count.
Right, exactly. It's like, um, and I let's see here. I have a number of series. I'm a series author. I don't write a lot of
Hmm.
standalones. I have a few, like they're here and there. I have some Christmas novels and this sort of thing, but mostly I'm a series writer. And one of my most popular series and most successful series was a series called the Christensen Family Series.
Hmm.
And the Christensen Family Series was about a family in northern Minnesota whose parents operated a resort, and they had 6 children, and they were trying to pass the resort off to one of the children, and nobody wanted it. And so it was really, I kind of like to call it like Parenthood Goes North, because it's very
Hmm.
much about how do you parent adult children who are also parents. And so one by one, the kids get married, they move on with their lives. And so you kind of dive into this life of this family, the North Shore. What does it mean to run a resort? And then you kind of get involved in their world. And they marry people like hockey players and smoke jumpers, and so kind of cool hot guys like that. And so that's always fun. So that kind of broadened my world a little bit too. I had a hockey team that I created. Actually, it was called the Blue Ox. And then about 2 years ago, they started a Blue Ox hockey team here in Minneapolis. And I'm like, I was
They've
first.
named it after your book series.
Right. Like, yeah, that's right. They were such big fans. So I was like, I was first. Just don't do a cease and desist on me. So
Yeah.
anyway, but it was fun. And but that series ended. I mean, I still have, as my readers know, I have a lot of people that walk on to different series. So you'll find,
Hmm.
people in this particular series that walk on to another series, or so everybody's always connected, and so you always see different characters. But so even though that series ended in like 2016, something like that,
Yep.
I've still had people that are like, who, how are they doing? And occasionally, like I said, we've had, like, for example, I think Price of Valor went up to Deep Haven. That's where it's from, Deep Haven. And that's where the town where everybody's from. And, so that we met a few people there, and we've had different kinds of run-ins, but never really another, like, how are they doing kind of
Yeah.
thing. And so in the last year, I've had a spin-off series written by, yes, with Sunrise Publishing. There are 3 amazing authors that took on the Deep Haven series,
World. Yeah.
the Deep Haven world, and they wrote 6 amazing novels set in that world. Super fun. I just fit perfectly. Readers loved them. They did really well. And throughout all of that, I kind of thought in the back of my head, I wonder if people are going to want to know how the Christensens are doing, because we
Hmm.
kind of see them in and out of their novels, and they did a really good job. Those authors did a great job of moving them in and out, and so people could see them. But I was on a trip actually with these 3 authors last June. We went up to Deep Haven, which is actually Grand Marais, Minnesota, for a day. It was super fun. And we drove up there and we spent the day there. And as we were driving home, one of them said, well, maybe you should do a Christmas book with these guys. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I love it. And so literally she pulled out a notebook. I said, hey, grab a notebook. And so she did. And we plotted it on the way home. And I plotted it scene by scene. I just wrote out the whole
Mm.
thing scene by scene. So I knew what was going on because I could see it in my head. And then I got home, and this was like late June. And so I started it in August. I wrote it in like a month. It was really fast because it was already plotted and I already knew these characters really well. And
Yeah.
basically it was just a catch up with the family. Like, what are they now? What are they doing? And sort of a slice of life, but also a turning point. There's something that happens that like turns the page for the Christensen family, which is really fun. So very fun series. Very, it's like I would call it like a Christmas card from the Christensens. And I almost
Yes.
called it that, but then I was like, okay, well, have yourself a Christensen Christmas seemed like the right answer. So
Yeah. I love it. And in Susie May fashion, This isn't like a Hallmark. Everyone's
Oh,
just drinking cocoa.
no. There's no there might be some slips and falls on the ice. There might be something like
Maybe
that.
from like page 2. I
Right,
think there's
right.
maybe
But
I think and
it's
then
not romantic where they're like fall together and then they roll around in the snow and then, oh, look at the stars or something. It's not that kind of fall on the ice. And
exactly. Like,
right.
okay, then it starts off, something's happening with the parents because
Yes.
right from
Right.
the beginning, the prologue has. I'm not gonna. I'm. The hard thing is like trying to talk about the book without talking too much about the
Right.
book. So you
Right.
just need to all read the book. But
Right.
right from the beginning, from the prologue, like something's going on with your parents, and then there's fall on the ice, which we won't go
Mhm.
anymore, and then there's other issues, surprise, unexpected, not always fun surprises that come
Right.
up, but
Right.
the fun part is seeing everyone come together. And I think that's what family is all about, whether you're the Christiansons, whether you're any family,
Right.
everyone has issues. I
Yeah.
mean, even as Christmas is approaching, we're like, okay, we'll see how this is going to go because, there's always those tensions and issues. But on top of that, there's deeper issues. But it is about coming together as a family and supporting each other. And even if there's differences, when there's bigger problems, that seems like all those little things are kind of forgotten
Right.
as we come together. So why was that so important to you to like, okay, this is just not we're all drinking cocoa and sharing
Yeah.
about our lives.
Right. Well, that was the thing. I was like, okay, it felt like to me that we hadn't seen them for a while. And so we needed to
Mhm.
catch up on their lives. And then it also felt like to me that, and I needed to have all 6 POVs. So that was a little bit tricky because I only did the POVs of the actual children. I didn't do their spouses.
Mhm.
And so was trying to figure out how do I weave in 6 POVs in a way that makes sense throughout the novel. And so I needed to have it a short period of time and have everything kind of bouncing off each other. But then I thought everybody has to have a problem.
Yeah.
But not all of them are going to talk. In fact, none of them really talk about it at the beginning. So
Mhm.
even the
Mhm.
parents have a problem, but they all are kind of trying to hide it, and for the sake of the family. And then, of course, it all sort of comes bubbling out. I mean, it starts with the first problem, which is, which is very overt. Something
Right.
happened, and
And then
then
you kind of overhear other
you overhear
problems. Like, did I
this,
hear something? I don't
and then
know.
let's bring in this person, and then there's problems that like people don't know that they have problems, and then they
Mhm.
suddenly realize they do. And but I kind of wanted to write a story about the fact that not everything's perfect. Life is hard.
Mhm.
Life is, and we've all and kind of coming off of COVID, kind of in the middle of COVID, maybe we,
I know. Going off? I don't know.
wherever we are now. It just felt like we needed to acknowledge the fact that life is challenging. Things happen. We don't always just ride off into the sunset and
Mhm.
happily ever after. Nothing happens. I mean, as you get married, as you have kids, as you don't have kids, whatever, life becomes challenging and you have to learn to navigate those things. And and that was the big thing for me
Mm.
as I was writing this, how do we face challenges in the midst of, our lives, and maybe not necessarily huge challenges, but enough that it rocks your boat a little bit, right? And so how do we face some of those things? Some of them have big, huge challenges. Some of them don't have big challenges. They're just sort of issues, right? But just
Right.
wanted to go, how does that happen? And I wanted some wisdom from John and Ingrid, even though they themselves had some stuff going on. And
Mhm.
I felt like if we could understand and get down to the basics, which is for me, and the theme was Emmanuel,
Mhm.
God with us, that whole idea that why are we panicking? The Lord is with us. He will give us the wisdom, the strength, and he'll carry us through this. And that's the point of Christmas, that he comes to redeem us. And that is a really great, powerful theme that I put throughout the story. And it's kind of woven in subtly until we get to a big moment. And, but I really, I wanted, that was the message. It was kind of my message to
Mm.
my readers, like a little Christmas card that I know you're going through hard stuff. We all are
Yeah.
going through hard stuff, but we are not alone and God is with us and we don't have to be afraid. And I think that was the message of the story, and the message to the Christensen kids, and then hopefully the message to my readers. So yeah,
I just got goosebumps when you said that. That
oh,
was my message. God is with us even through the hard times. And I
yeah,
think so many times, I mean, because we want books that readers are going to love, there is in a lot of books, a lot of our books, the happy ending.
yeah,
They're together, they're going to get married, they get engaged, like,
right,
and but life is hard. I mean, John and I just talking through like the things we've gone through, and we haven't even had huge, huge, huge challenges. It's just some stuff is just hard, and life is
Mhm.
hard, and it's not going to
Mhm.
be this neat bow. But I love
Mhm.
that God is always with us, and
Mhm.
Emmanuel and His peace can always be there. And I
Mhm.
think that's what we need to hear. And I think that's why I love this book so much. It's because it's like, okay, all right, God is with us and he will be with us.
Yeah.
And I think also readers are going to relate to one of the couples or just some of their issues or some
Yeah.
of the things. And
Yeah, everybody's got kind of a different issue
mhm,
to
mhm.
deal with, and I try to do like many sides of life. Not everybody has the same problem, and so, but yeah, so that was it. I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I relate to so many different people, and stuff like that. So, mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if readers have read the Christensen books, they're going to be super, super excited. I will say, though, I think, I mean, even if you've only read a couple of them, you are still going to be able to follow along with this
Mhm.
book. You're going to be able
Mhm.
to. You might not know exactly like, okay, how this couple got together, but
Right,
they're together and they're in the. So I want to encourage you, like, don't feel like, oh no, Christmas is next week and I can't get this because I need to go back and read all
right,
the books. If
right.
you've read a couple of them, if you know, or if you just want a great Christmas read, you're going to be able to totally follow along with this book. You're going to
Yeah.
fall in love with these people, and then you could go back and then you can read more of their
Yeah,
stories.
and I give a little in each one of them. I have a small little hint about what happened in their book, so you can kind
Mhm.
of be like, oh, okay, and then move on. So you don't have to have read all of the books. It does,
Exactly.
makes it richer, to have read them, but you don't have to have read them. And
Yeah.
it's also just a kind of a fun Christmas story about a homecoming with a family that has issues. And we all have those, like The Family Stone is a popular movie about, families
Mhm.
that come home with secrets, right? Same kind of thing. Family comes home with secrets, everybody has issues, how do they deal with them? So that's kind of the fun part of the story. So, and I think readers will enjoy catching up with the Christensens. So it's fun.
And being back in Deep Haven again.
And yeah, right. And that's it. And then also, if you've read any of the Deep Haven books,
Mhm.
a lot of the characters over the last year appear in this story as well. So just like they put in the Christensens, I put in other Deep Haven characters. So if you love Deep Haven, you'll recognize a lot of the Deep Haven characters. So,
Absolutely. Do you have some of those books there? I have them on my Kindle.
oh, I
I could
do, but I would have to get up to go
It's
get
okay. You're
and
fine.
you don't want me to do that. It would involve like a face thing. There'd be noises.
It's okay. So,
Yeah.
why don't you just can you briefly explain
Yeah.
some of the books in the series? I can
Sure.
pull them up on my Kindle because I know I bought them
Yeah.
all
Oh,
on
wow. Thank
Kindle.
you. So the first one was called I'll Be There, and it was about a woman named Megan and who lived in Deep Haven and an ex-ranger named
See,
Cole.
see,
Yep, there
see,
they
right
are. And
there.
she's a wedding planner, and it's set in January. It's just adorable story about how he has to help her plan weddings in order to get her out of this house that he wants to rent. It's a hilarious story. And the next one is called Can't Buy Me Love. It's a Cinderella story about a girl named Ella who falls in love with a billionaire named Adrian, and they both end up in trouble and have to do time together on the community, like community service, and it's very fun. Third one is called Can't,
Crazy,
Crazy for
crazy
You.
for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that one's really fun. It's a Hatfield and McCoy story. A small town. The hero is Peter. He's the fire chief, but he's also the son of. He's related to the two major families in town, the Zimmermans and the Dahlquists, and one own all the restaurants in town, and one family owns all the hotels in town. So that's really a fun story. And into this mix comes this woman from outside, and from the cities, and she kind of riles up everything. And then the next one is one of my absolute favorites. Yes, Then Came You. That's the story of Boone and Vivian. And Boone is from my PJ Sugar series. And Rachel took Boone and with my permission, and she just did a
Which is so fun. She's like, hey,
oh,
I actually want to use this
that's
character
right. Yeah,
over
I know.
here.
She just did him justice in every way, and Vivi is adorable. She's from the Deep Haven, and everybody knows Vivi from before. So they had a great romance, and so that was super fun. And then the next one was, yes, Hanging by a Moment, and it's Jack Stewart, who's an ex-con, and that was a very interesting story. And then his love interest is Colleen Decker, who is also from Deep Haven, and they are both flight nurses in training. And so you get into some cool rescues and things like that because they're part of this crisis response team. And then the last one that came out is Right Here Waiting. and it's got two adorable little doggy cookies on the
It's
cover.
so cute.
It
Yeah.
is so cute. And it's about a dog sledder and a helicopter pilot. And the helicopter pilot is like from Texas, and she's a size 2, and she like doesn't belong in the northern, and he's a wilderness survival guy. It's a really great story, but also emphasizes, how do you fit into a world that seems too harsh for you. So anyway, they're all really fun stories. Lighthearted, has elements of seriousness in it. It's kind of fun, deep, fun,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And so that's I was really proud of these girls. They worked so hard on them, and the stories are really fun. So yeah, my character sort of moved in and out of those series. So that was really fun. So yeah, they're great stories. And actually, I think they are. Oh yeah, you can buy the first 3 as a volume set now. The next 3 are going to come out like in 6 months in a volume set, and starting in January, they're going to be on Kindle Unlimited. So yeah, so if you're a KU reader, you want to definitely download those.
Yeah,
So
I had a couple of them, and it said like only need to pay this much more to get the rest, and I just like click. It was so easy because they're all packaged together.
Yeah,
you can just get them all. So yeah,
and they kind of they pick up. The authors worked really closely, so they pick up where the last one left off, and there's some overflow and stuff. So you can read them alone, but it's fun to read them together because you kind of get the whole. And it spans the whole year, so it goes January, spring, early June, July, August, September, and then October and November. So it's really great.
I love that so much. Okay, so if people have a couple weeks off starting next week, you could like totally immerse yourself into Deep Haven.
You could. I mean, if you're really crazy, you could start with the whole. Start with Happily Ever After. Go through all those books, and then you could do the Christian Sins, and then you could do all the Deep Haven, and then you could end with Have Yourself a Christian Sin.
Exactly. Right. It would be the perfect holidays.
It would be. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, it's been really fun. This is a great book. I've had really great reviews on it. People really have enjoyed it, and I really wrote it for my readers because I just felt like wanted to give them something special. And just coming back to meet the Christian Sins again was really fun. I cried at the end of this book. It was really a powerful book in many ways.
I'm not all the way to the end yet, so don't tell me anything.
I'll tell you. It has Christmas miracles. It has a dog. It has all the things.
All the things that you need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we just need the Deep Haven TV series. That's what we
need. Know, right? Well, we're working on that. We're working on it. Get some talks going. We're working on it, but things. You know how it is. Bring us into the TV is a challenge, but it would be fun, wouldn't it be? Just to have a Deep Haven series. So
it would be.
It's sort of like a little bit like what's that one set in the North Alaska? Oh shoot. Rob Morrow.
Yes, Northern Exposure.
Northern Exposure. It's like Northern Exposure, only set in the North Woods of Minnesota.
Yeah. So you're just gonna love all the people. And
it's great. It's a fun series. It's like I said, it's fun, deep, fun, deep. Sort of kind of. That's kind of how I like to write: is keep them entertained and then give them good solid truth.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I know we're supposed to be talking about this one.
Oh.
My other favorite books I've read this year are the time travel.
Oh yes, the time travel ones. Yes.
Do you have? I have those. I have them on Audible. Hold on, let me pull them up. I should have just prepared myself.
I'll just limp off screen for a second. Never mind me.
They're so good.
Okay. I have the last 3 right here.
I have not gotten to the last one because I'm waiting for the audiobook.
Oh, I know. The audiobook is on the way. It's just our audio producer it's just taking a little bit longer. It's almost ready, actually.
Okay. Because I'm just like one of the diehard audiobook for this series because I've listened to the rest of them on audiobook that I just want the audiobook.
I get
okay.
you.
So the first one is Cast the First Stone, the first one?
Yep, so here it is.
Okay.
So Cast the First Stone. It's this one. There we go.
Yeah.
And this one, so this was such a fun series because Rembrandt Stone is the hero, and he it's first person male POV, except for when he's in the past, there's a third person female POV that's Eve, his wife, and only not his wife in the past, and so she's his wife in the future. And the question is, will she remain his wife? If he's
every book you're wondering,
you wonder, yeah. So he has a lot of regrets, and he has a chance to go back, and he's a former cop, and he's got cold cases, and he gets this box of cold cases from his mentor who's passed away. And when he gets the box, he rifles through it, and he finds the first cold case, which is the one that he regrets the most. It's a bombing 3 coffee shops in the late 90s in Minneapolis.
Yep.
He takes out the file. He's also been given a watch, and something happens. And we worked really hard on the timey-wimey stuff on this to make sure that it worked. And actually,
I have not found a mistake yet listening to it. Like,
we've really worked hard on making sure it all was right. And then even the explanation in book 2, we kind of give an explanation of why it works and what ran that through the time checkers, making sure that it was right, So anyway, if you could, so it's a kind of a mix between Quantum Leap and
Castle. It reminds me a little bit of Castle.
Yeah, it's got a little Castle feel.
A little Quantum Leap.
Yeah, a little Quantum Leap, right? Putting right what went wrong, kind of thing. So anyway, so this is the first one, and then the second one was No Unturned Stone. This was actually my least favorite cover, but it was fine. But this was a fun one about. I'm trying to remember what happened. Oh yeah, there was a girl that died. So he goes back. He can only go back to his cold cases, and he can't repeat a cold case. So if he goes back to the first one, but then goes back to, like, let's say the fourth one, he can't ever go back to 2 and 3, right? So
and he's told not to change things because it'll
told
change.
not to change things, but
like, again, in the middle of it, I'm like, I don't know. He's gonna have to change it. Like,
right.
How could you be there and not change it?
Right. He's like, if I know someone's gonna die, why would I let that happen? Right. So that's a problem. And we find out later in the series, probably in the last one especially, why you haven't found out yet why he's told not to change it, but you don't know yet. So
I don't know yet.
So this was a fun one. And then comes the third one, which was this one. I love this one. This one was about a blizzard in Minneapolis, and they're looking for 2 lost kids before the blizzard hits. And I really love this one. It has a lot of fun. David loved this one. So David James Warren is actually, David is my son. James is James L. Rubart, and the Warren is me and my son. But anyway, so we put their names on it because we felt like, wow, okay. And so this was, anyway, we wanted to have a pen name because otherwise Jim and I were going to fight over who got top billing. And
so you wouldn't have to. Hello, you're the prettiest.
Oh yeah, I know Jim's pretty handsome. So, but David, so my son also was. So we plotted it together. I drafted the first draft. I sent it to Jim. He did edits. David took the edits and my draft and sort of made them work together. And then David did all the admin. He did all the layouts. He did all the editing, this sort of thing. So he was a very big part. Plus he was the Time Lord. He made sure that our Time
Lord. Everyone needs a Time Lord in their time travel books.
That's right, exactly. So but this one was fun because it was probably the most romantic one. There's a scene in there that's really romantic, and David thought, oh yeah, I really like that one. So he liked that one. I do too. And then the next one I love, this is my favorite cover. This is the first time we see Rem. This is young Rem. He turns around so we can see him. And I love that. This one is, for the first time, he's stuck. He can't go back in time, and he must go back in time. So he's desperate to figure out how to go back in time. But
we're talking desperate,
like super desperate. Like, yeah, we went there. It was crazy. But
you went there.
We did. But it's a fun story, and so it mostly takes place in the present. Which was kind of fun to catch up with him in his life that he had currently here. And then, of course, the next one is the most gripping, I think, Blood from the Stone. This is Eve, his wife. And so we get a lot of her in this story. But yes, he goes back in time to do something very pivotal to the whole series, whether it's or not.
Something happens.
Something happens that was very serious and big, and he may or may not have accomplished it. We'll see. And it may or may not involve his wife. We'll see.
But I think at the end, I was cooking dinner, and I think I stood there for 5 minutes, like trying to process the end of the book.
Right. Most people were like, on the IG, people were like, what just happened? Which was great because it set it up for this one. Heart of Stone. Okay. Yeah. Right. So this is the last one, and this is Old Rem. And so I love that. And this is, we truly discover who the heart of Rembrandt in this one. So it's
I
very fun.
am dying, and I know I could go read it right now, but I just love the audiobooks. Jim
Or
did
Jim
the
does all the
audiobook.
narration on it, and they're so fantastic. And he really nails the voice of Rem. And I wrote it for Jim. Like I wrote when I was writing it, I wrote it with Jim's
It,
voice in mind.
yeah, and I had to tell myself, no, this is Rembrandt, not Jim.
Right.
I'm like so upset. I'm like, wait, it's not Jim.
Yeah. And yet Jim is Rembrandt, so it works
Yeah,
out really, really well. So
it's one thing that's unique, and I think the more the series go, I thought more. He would say like, "Well, I had to do this, wouldn't you?" Like it
yeah,
would do the
yeah, he
whole
breaks the fourth wall quite a bit.
yeah.
Not too much, just enough where he'll be like,
And I'm
okay,
like,
stay with
yes,
me.
yes, I
Yeah.
understand.
No, it's like he's talking to you. It's like you do the same thing, wouldn't you? Or stay with me now. There's a reason, or you and I both know what's going to happen, or he'll
Or
make
you
me
might
stop.
not agree with this, or you
Yes,
just
well,
all
this
that
is what
kind
I
of
got to
stuff.
do, or whatever. It's funny because it's like he's having a conversation with you, which is kind of how I wrote it, which was fun. I think that's what makes him so likable. He's really
Mhm.
humble, and he's very but he's very desperate. But
Yeah,
especially towards the end of the series, he's like so desperate.
yeah.
So he's a fun character. I had a lot of fun writing this, and so these actually they're going to be available. There, I think we might be doing a sale on them coming soon, but they're also going into Kindle Unlimited starting
Okay,
sometime in January. So if
so good.
people, yeah, thank
Those
you.
are definitely my top reads for the year. Like
Oh,
top,
thank
top.
you.
Yeah, they're so
Oh,
good.
oh,
And
well,
it's so
thank
funny this year. I'm like, oh my gosh, my favorite of these books is like so different. It's not historical. It's not World War II.
I,
It's not.
I know. That you're not the only one. I've had a couple people reach out to me and be like, "This is the strangest thing, but I love these books more than anything." And they're not genre books. And I was like, I think they are a mix of. They're like procedural. They're a little historical. If you go back
I
to the
mean, historical case,
90s.
you go back in time like 20 years, or
Right, right. And so not super historical, but a little bit, and
yeah.
then you've got the mystery and the thriller. They got some romance, and
Mhm.
so all of those kind of things happen. So it's kind of
Well,
drama.
there's multiple romances, but some of the romances you don't want to be romances because
Right,
they're the
right.
wrong
Yeah,
romances.
wrong romance. Stop! Don't do that.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
that's right. That's right. So it was fun, and then because I wrote them all before the first one was published. I was able to like take a couple things from the book
Mm.
6 and put them into book 1, just to make sure that the threads worked. I mean, I already had it kind of bookended and figured out, but I had a couple things that happened in book 6 where I was like, oh, let's plant that in book 1. And so then I was able to go back
Oh.
and plant that. And it was already kind of written in there, but it wasn't clear enough. So like it was just one tiny tweak. And then so that was the one thing. And then well, you'll see when you get done. You'll see the thing. You'll probably figure out what I planted.
Okay.
Anyway, but it was fun. So yeah, it was a great series. So it was really fun, and I really enjoyed writing it. It stretched me a lot as a writer. Christians and Christmas, I wrote these probably in about a month each because they're pretty short. They're
Right.
50,000, 60,000 words. So they're not that big. But this one, the Christians and Christmas, I wrote in a month too. But this was easy. I knew all the characters, so I
Yeah.
just had a blueprint. I was like, oh, that's this scene. Oh, da, 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 da. And it really wasn't. It was super easy to get into character with them. So that was really fun.
That's good. Okay, so what are you working on next? Because I
Okay,
know
I'm
you
glad.
were always working on
Right.
something.
Well, I just next month comes this book,
Ooh.
Sunrise.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
very fun. It's a trilogy. Three brothers
Look at
go
that
back home.
cover.
I know,
That
isn't it gorgeous?
cover
It
is
is. Yeah,
gorgeous.
I said I want a Nora Roberts cover, and that's what they gave me. And wait till you see the other two;
Oh,
they're
wow.
just as gorgeous. So they did a great job. So it's set in Alaska. This first one, the second one's set in mostly in well, somewhat in Alaska, but also in Kenya. No, I'm sorry, Nigeria. And then the third one is set mostly in Alaska and somewhat in Florida.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so that's fun. But it's about three brothers who come home at various times. So the first brother comes home to run his dad's bush pilot service. So they have a ranch, but they're really bush pilots. And so anyway, he comes home to run the ranch when the dad crashes the plane, and we find that in the first chapter. So that's not a big deal. But there's tons of secrets and issues and this sort of thing. Well,
Mm.
throughout the course of the book, he finds something that ignites a problem. And in book
I
2,
love how you're like, "Something," and
that
then a
ignites a problem,
problem, and then
right?
this
And so then in book 2, one of the other brothers comes back and says, we need to help this third brother. So anyway, and so it's truly a trilogy, because it's like you have this one, and then the next one builds on this one, and the next one builds
Mm.
on this one. So it's a really fun book. They all come out this year.
That's what I was
So
wondering. So with trilogies, I mean, I
yeah.
hate when they say, and then the second one will be next year. You're like, ah.
Mhm. And
And that's
that's,
what I liked about Rembrandt too, though,
yeah, came
because
out
you
so
release
fast.
them so quickly that
Hmm.
I think I've had to wait 3 weeks, or no, probably a month for the next
Yeah.
audiobook, and I'm like, ah.
I
But
know.
yeah.
I know a lot of people, and I think that's really important when you do a series like this where it's so closely tied, to give them fast, because people want to read them,
Hmm.
and we had more pre-orders for the last book than the first book, which was a really good sign, because people kept
Yeah.
with it. And so I'm hoping that's the truth with it. I found that to be true with like my Marshall series. We had more for the
Hmm.
last one. Even the Deep Haven series that came out this year with those girls, we had more pre-orders for the last book
Oh,
than the first
good.
book. So if you give readers a great story and a reason to keep reading, they will, but you don't want to tire them out by making them wait too long. And so that's kind of one of
Exactly.
the beauty things. So I worked with my publisher, and we were able to get it so that we had it all in the course of one calendar year, which is a
Oh, good.
really big deal for a publisher. So I have to give them.
That is a really, because usually it's like one book per year per author is
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
they
And
do.
so, yeah, and so they were fantastic. They've always been fantastic to work with. So I'm with Ravel right now, and they just do such a good job of supporting me. And I come up with ideas, like I say things like, "Give me a Nora Roberts cover," and they come up with that. So
I
it's like,
mean, that could be like a poster for your.
I know, it's so gorgeous. It really can be. So yeah, so I have a lot of fun coming up. So right now I'm dreaming up. I'm working on a series right now, a trilogy, a small trilogy is going to come out this summer, called The Epic Adventure of RJ and York, or York and RJ. It's the story of, so there was a character in my Montana Marshall series.
Mm.
Her name was RJ, and she fell in love with this spy named York, rather, York. And they kind of were in some of my other series. Well, they deserve their own kind of series. So we're doing a trilogy, and I just got the covers. They're kind of fun. They're very noir, but it's set in, first one's set in Paris. The second one's set in
Ooh.
Florence or Rome. I think probably Florence. And the third one is set in Berlin. So they're very international and kind of fun. And so that comes out this summer. It's a trilogy. And then next year, so that'll kind of come out in between these books. So these will come out like, and those are short books. Those are like 50,000 words. These
Yeah.
are big fat books. So this one comes out in January. The next one comes out like in May. And then actually the trilogy is going to come out all in the month of either July or August. I'm going to release them all
Okay.
at the same time. And then the third of this one will come out like next October, I think, something like that. And then in 2023 will be the Minnesota Marshals, which is a family drama that I'm
Yeah.
writing. So
So you need a poster that has all the connecting characters
we,
for
we
all of
have
your
one.
books.
We're building
What?
one. So my sister, I finally put one together, and she's making it pretty. So we have a massive poster that connects all the books and all the people. Like you can, like it's here, and so yeah, it has a.
Then you need stickers, and then when you read the book, you put a sticker on it,
That is a great
and
idea.
then you sticker all of them.
That
Because
is
yours is like, I mean, mine are so varied. Like we have Amish and World War II, nothing's, but yours are like this person is connected
yes.
to here,
It's
and this
all yeah.
person is there. And so then if
Yes.
you just had stickers or something that you could put on
Yes.
them,
Yes.
or a
Yes.
little label that says finished, I don't know, something.
Yeah,
It,
I really like that idea. Actually, you could put the book cover in, and then you could have stickers that were actually the people. I could have somebody like create the
oh,
people, and you could say, "Oh, that's him. He's in that book, in that book, in that book."
that'd be so fun.
That would be fun. But yeah, and then I have a printables list that will like has the list, and then it has the characters in it, so you could kind of see who's in what. So yeah, so we're working on that though, because you're right. The Susie verse is big. The
Yeah,
Susie
the Susie verse. That's what you on the top of the poster, Susie verse, right
Susie worth,
here.
yeah. So, but I like it because I think readers really enjoy when they see somebody that they recognize. They're like, "Oh, that
Absolutely.
person, yeah, I remember that." So it's
Yeah,
fun for them
absolutely. Yeah.
to get
Well,
it.
obviously you keep us busy. You keep us reading or listening. And I love it so much. Okay, so here you go. Here's your assignment. Go get
Yeah.
this book before Christmas.
Or
Enjoy
and if
it.
you want to, you can get it in hardcover. Makes a great
I
gift.
know. Yes, that would be a
And
excellent
I'm also there's also you can get it in large print.
Oh, you can. Okay, good.
Yes, so it's large print, hardcover, print, ebook. There's no audio. I don't know that we'll do audio just because it came out pretty fast and got all the different voices.
Maybe for next year.
Maybe, yeah, we'll see.
Oh, that would be hard with all the different voices too.
Yeah, I have a book coming out. I have a Christmas book coming out next year that people are really going to love, I think.
Oh, see, you didn't even mention this yet.
Oh, yeah. So I'm working on a Christmas book right now with the 3 Deep Haven authors, and it's called I can't think. It's something about a Winter Wonderland. Once Upon a Winter Wonderland.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Yeah. And it's about the wedding of Boone and Vivian and how it goes awry, and they all get snowed in, and
then all the other people are going to be there.
Yeah,
oh, that'd be awesome.
It's really cute. It's a really cute story. So yeah, and it builds off of this one here. So anyway, so we will have that one next year, and then yeah, we'll see. We'll branch out. Maybe we'll leave Deep Haven and go somewhere else. I don't know.
No, I mean, you can't leave Deep Haven.
I know, right? Like everybody loves Deep Haven. You know. So I have another town called Mercy Falls in Montana, so I might have to work on Mercy Falls a little bit and see if we can't get some love for that.
Well, Montana's good.
Yeah, Montana. It was a global search. It was a search and rescue team. Montana, so we'll see.
I haven't read those yet.
Yeah, they're good. They're really fun.
Yeah.
They're all, falling off cliffs and surviving blizzards and, things like that.
And that's what you do in Montana.
Right. That's what we do in Montana.
I lived there for 15 years. I never fell off a cliff.
Oh, you're missing
We
it.
had a daughter fall in a river before those.
Oh, that's scary. Yeah, we have some river falls too. We've got some river issues. Rivers, cliffs, snowstorms, bad weather of all sorts, crashes on some of the high roads, things like that. So yeah, well, so it's fun. Right. Always fun to get people in trouble in Montana.
Exactly. You t-shirt that says that. Always fun to get people in trouble in Montana.
That's right. So that's kind of what I do. So anyway, so yeah.
Okay, this is the easiest question yet. Where do people go to find you and the Susie verse and everything about the books?
Go to SusanMayWarren.com. That's probably the easiest way. If you want to, you can go to Facebook. Has a Susie May Warren page, Susan May Warren page actually. So it's Susan May Warren Fiction, I think, is on Facebook, and then SusanMayWarren.com is the website. And then if you want to, there's actually a inside group called the Susie May Superstars, and these are people that are fans that sometimes give support. They share memes or reviews or something like that. So
I want to see some of those memes. I could just imagine some of them.
We have some people are just there's a really funny meme out there. And it's like a guy that's standing in front of a one of those murder boards where you have like these cords, that are going everywhere. And he's got like cords around, and like he's a mess, right? Like he's got tape and stuff, and he's like, and the person is standing there staring at the board, and it says, me trying to figure out the Susie May Warren verse or Susie May verse or whatever, Susie verse, and it was really funny. And I was like, oh, I got to keep that. That is awesome. Kind of going around. Yeah, that was fun. So I'm like, okay, I better make a little map.
Yeah, exactly. Well, which just means you love these people. Like you love the people, we love the people. So we just got to keep revisiting them.
Just try to write stories that people will enjoy, fall in love with the people. I do write technical things in my stories. I mean, I do write, when you read a book about climbing, I actually try to do the climbing. I do as much as I can to make it right. So, sometimes my editors are like, really, Susie, we don't have to know all about the knots and the type of crampons that they're using. And we don't have to know all of the gear, really, or the techniques. And I'm like, but they do. Because
some people do know.
Right. Yeah. So we have to find a balance, it's like that. So one of my books that's coming out recently is all about smallpox. And so, yes, and it's very enlightening, actually. And so I talk a lot about smallpox and vaccine and different things like that. And my editor's like, I learned way too much. I learned more than I ever wanted to. Okay.
I love that.
Yeah. So anyway, so I do try to put a lot of research in, so it's as real as I can. But then I try. Really, it's about the characters.
Yeah, it is.
It's you can do all sorts of crazy stuff, jump off cliffs, go ski down mountains, but really, it's about the characters. Why are they jumping off the cliff, and how does it affect them?
What is the dark moment in their past that makes them want to?
That made them go over that cliff? What are they going to learn from it? How are they going to grow?
Exactly. I love it. Oh, well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for being
Yeah.
here today.
Thanks for
Again,
having me.
pulled it
It's
up one
really
more time. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you. It's so
I'm
fun
gonna
to be
finish
here.
before Christmas. That's my
Yeah.
goal.
Do it.
So
Let me know
I'm
what you
excited.
think.
Yep.
All
All
right. Well,
right.
thanks for having me. It's great to see you again. And thanks to everybody out there that reads my books. I so appreciate it. You guys are
Yep.
awesome.
Thank you.